In today's digital age, safeguarding your privacy has become a necessity. From smartphones to smart speakers, laptops to IoT devices, the amount of personal data shared between your electronics and companies is immense. Knowing how to protect your privacy across different technologies can help keep your information secure from unwanted surveillance or data breaches. Let's walk through essential privacy settings you should be aware of, how to check them, and why keeping up with them matters. iPhone privacy settings. Apple has long promoted privacy as a cornerstone of its ecosystem. Here's how you can check and adjust your iPhone privacy settings. First, limit app tracking. Go to Settings, Privacy and Security, Tracking. Toggle Allow apps to request to track to off if you don't want apps tracking your activity across other companies' apps and websites. Next, Location Services. Open Settings, Privacy and Security, Location Services. From here, you can select which apps have access to your location, turning off location tracking entirely or customizing each app's location use to never, ask next time, or while using the app. Then, App Permissions. Head to Settings, Privacy and Security, and scroll through options like Photos, Camera, Microphone, etc. Review which apps have access to specific features and disable permissions that seem unnecessary. Finally, Safari Privacy. Go to Settings, Safari, and turn on Prevent Cross-Site Tracking and block all cookies for enhanced web browsing privacy. You may also enable Hide IP Address under Privacy and Security to prevent tracking via your IP. Apple consistently updates its privacy settings, so it's crucial to revisit these options after each iOS update. Android privacy settings. Privacy on Android devices can vary depending on your manufacturer, but here are core settings available across most devices. First, App Permissions. Go to Settings, Privacy, Permission Manager. From here you can see all permission types like camera, location, contacts, and adjust them for each app, similar to iPhones. Next, Google Activity Controls. Open the Google app. Settings, Privacy, Activity Controls. Here you can turn off activity tracking for web and app activity, location history, and YouTube history to prevent Google from storing your personal data. Then, Ads Personalization. Navigate to Settings, Google, Ads, and Disable. Opt out of ads personalization if you don't want Google using your information to serve targeted ads. Lastly, Find My Device. While useful for lost devices, you may disable it if privacy is more important than recovery. Go to Settings, Security. Find My Device and toggle it off if desired. It's recommended to check these settings regularly, as privacy options may change with system updates or app permissions. Alexa and Google Home privacy settings. Smart speakers like Amazon Alexa and Google Home collect a lot of data to improve their service, but you can limit what they gather. For Alexa, first, delete recordings. Open the Alexa app. More. Settings, Alexa Privacy. Review voice history. From here you can delete your recordings manually or set them to auto-delete after a specific time. Next, disable drop-in. In the Alexa app, go to Devices, Echo and Alexa. Communications, drop-in. Disable drop-in to stop other Echo devices from making unsolicited voice connections to your device. For Google Home, first, delete voice history. Open the Google Home app. Account, My Activity. You can delete individual voice commands or enable auto-delete for data older than 3 months. Next, limit data collection. In Google Assistant, Privacy settings, you can disable things like web and app activity and location history to prevent your device from logging certain information. Home Internet and IoT device privacy. Your home internet and IoT devices, like smart cameras, thermostats, and other gadgets, can be vulnerable to breaches if not properly managed. Here are some key settings to check. First, you'll want to secure your router. Change the default router username and password. Make sure your router uses WPA3 encryption for better security, and unless you need it for troubleshooting, disable remote management. Next, review the privacy settings of your devices. For any IoT devices, visit their settings, usually in the app, and look for options like data sharing, activity history, and location tracking. Turn off any features that don't align with your privacy preferences. Also, disable unnecessary features. Many smart devices come with features like remote access or voice command logging. If you're not using them, it's best to disable these features to reduce data exposure. And finally, regularly update firmware. Keeping your router and IoT devices up to date with the latest firmware ensures security patches are applied. Privacy laws, U.S. versus European Union. Understanding how privacy laws differ between regions can help you better protect your data. The United States generally has a more relaxed stance on privacy compared to the European Union. In the United States, there is no comprehensive federal privacy law. Instead, privacy regulations vary by state and sector. For example, HIPAA for health data and COPPA for children's data. Major tech companies collect data freely unless specific state laws, like the California Consumer Privacy Act, limit their scope. On the other hand, the European Union enforces one of the strictest privacy laws in the world, the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. Under GDPR, companies must obtain explicit consent before collecting or processing personal data. Individuals have the right to access, delete, or restrict the use of their data, and companies face hefty fines for violations. Knowing these laws can help you decide what data you're comfortable sharing and with whom. In the US, you may need to take more proactive steps to secure your data, whereas in the EU, companies are mandated to prioritize your privacy. Quotes on privacy and surveillance. Arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. Edward Snowden. To be left alone is the most precious thing one can ask of the modern world. Anthony Burgess. The choice for mankind lies between freedom and happiness, and for the great bulk of mankind, happiness is better. George Orwell. In conclusion, staying vigilant about your privacy settings is crucial as technology becomes more intertwined with our daily lives. Whether you're tweaking the permissions on your smartphone or securing your smart home, protecting your personal data is within your control. Regularly revisiting and updating these settings can shield you from unwanted surveillance and ensure your privacy remains intact.